Welcome to the Advice Show, Media, the Common Sense Approach. So, Officer Daniel Pantaleo with the New York Police Department, the one that choked Eric Garner to death, will not be indicted for that murder, even though we all saw the tape. See, this is different than Mike Brown. It was a lot of he said, she said, but they did not have video evidence like they have in this case from the beginning to the end. And even though they had video evidence from the beginning to the end, this grand jury decided that we will not indict an officer, even though we clearly have video of what he's doing. This isn't the first time this has happened, ladies and gentlemen. Do you remember back in the early 90s, Rodney King? They'll beat the hell out of Rodney King on tape. The officers were brought to trial, actually. They were acquitted, even though it was plain on tape. So this isn't the first time this sort of thing has happened. Now, if you don't know much about the case and what went on with Eric Garner, I'll post a link in the description box. You can check out my original video on that. Eric Garner broke up a fight that day. The cops approached him about selling loose cigarettes because I guess it's against the law in New York to sell loose cigarettes which you already bought. Not that you stole something, that you bought a pack of cigarettes. Somebody won't want to say, yeah, man, shoot. You give me X amount of dollars for it, you can have it. They mad because they can't collect taxes on it. From what I read, a pack of cigarettes can cost you $14 in the state of New York. That is crazy. But there's also a lot of things that's crazy that go on in New York. I could not believe that people even allowed it, like allowing them to literally take away your Second Amendment rights. That's silly. I don't know who even allowed that to happen when you're supposed to have that by the Constitution. But that's another story. The thing is, Eric Garner did not deserve to die, no matter what. And of course, you're going to have the racist and the cop apologists try to come in and say he caused his own death, as usual. You know, there's always a justification of killing black men. But I guarantee you, if there's no justification, if that same cop were to do that to someone in their group. Now, these cops approached this man, and we all saw how it went down. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. Do you know in this video, as Eric Garner is saying,
put your hand behind your back. I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. Many times this man saying he can't breathe. Did Daniel Pantaleo care about that? No. Because he didn't look at Eric Garner as a fellow human being. He can care less about his rights. He is a part of the police state that's running around in America that says, F your rights, F the Constitution. We the police. We do what we want to do. Comply or die, period. You better not tell me about no rights. I can care less about that. I'm the police. I'm judge, jury, and executioner now. You don't worry about no trial by jury. It's what I say. This is the culture in police right now. Even though you pay their tax dollars, even though they supposed to be serving you, but they act like that they are the slave master and you the slave. And if you open your mouth to them, you're going to get a lynching. This is what is happening right now with police culture. We were discussing last night, all these people running around saying cops, you know, now all cops are bad. Well, you know what? If the quote unquote good cops don't say nothing, they're actually worse than these cops if they don't say a word. Because if it was my profession, I would stand up and say, wait a minute, I don't do nothing to nobody. I like my job. I'm a good cop, and I refuse to sit here and allow this to go on. Where's the good cops? Where are they? They're not saying a word. Where are they standing up and saying this is not what cops are about? We willing to stand up against the bad eggs within our profession to refuse people to stop labeling all of us the same. It's no different than when somebody say something about black people. I stand up and say that's not all of us, because you're not going to label me and group me in with something that has nothing to do with me. So why cops aren't standing up and saying something about this? And if a cop says something, he's a retired cop or, you know, something like that. He's not anyone who's actually in the force. That's concerning. I mean, but I also heard that a lot of these cops, and I put up a video before where a cop was trying to do the right thing and they threatened his life and all this other stuff. I mean, if y'all allow these corrupt cops to get that bad in these departments, then something's wrong. And if you reach out to the people would definitely support you as being a police officer. But even though this guy murdered Eric Garner, this fool, I call him a fool, had a statement to say to the family. And I couldn't believe that stuff. Even though when he was being filmed and he noticed he was being filmed, he waved at the camera. After you kill somebody, you waving at the camera like it's a joke or something like that. Let you know what he think about the life of Eric Garner. But this is what he had to say. It is never my intention to harm anyone, and I feel bad about the death of Mr. Garner. My family and I include him and his family in our prayers, and I hope that they will accept my personal condolences for their loss. And he is speaking like he didn't do much or nothing, even though he killed a man. Now, this is the response from Eric Garner's wife after she heard about this statement.
Time for remorse would have been when my husband was yelling to breathe. That would have been the time for him to show some type of remorse or some type of care for another human being's life. When he was screaming 11 times that he can't breathe. So there's nothing that him or his prayers or anything else would make me feel any different. No, I don't accept his apology. No, I could care less about his condolences. No, I could care less. He's still working. He's still getting a paycheck. He's still feeding his kids. And my husband is 6 feet under. And I'm looking for a way to feed my kids now.
Anyone else?
You know,
all right, thank you very much.
Who's gonna play Santa Claus for my grandkids this year? Because he played Santa Claus for my grandkids. Who's gonna do that now?
So what do you want to happen to him? What do you want?
I said that's it. Thank you.
The time for remorse would have been when my husband was yelling to breathe. That would have been the time for him to show some type of remorse or some type of care for another human being's life. When he was screaming 11 times that he can't breathe. So there's nothing that him or his prayers or anything else would make me feel any different. No, I don't accept his apology. No, I could care less about his condolences. No, I could care less. He's still working. He's still getting a paycheck. He's still feeding his kids. And my husband is 6 feet under. And I'm looking for a way to feed my kids now.
Anyone else?
You know,
all right, thank you very much.
Who's gonna play Santa Claus for my grandkids this year? Because he played Santa Claus for my grandkids. Who's gonna do that now?
So what do you want to happen to him? What do you want?
I said that's it. Thank you.
This is the attitude that we need to have, period, with people like him and anybody else. Forget that junk about turning the other cheek. Forget that junk about, oh, well, we have to stand with them. And man, forget that junk. Because you know what? They're not turning the other cheek to you. They're not praying for you. They're not doing nothing for you but killing you. At any given time, they're killing you. You know, a lot of us, including myself, was like, well, maybe body cameras would help the situation. We had a camera completely there the whole time. It did not help the situation. But also, these situations with these police, the fix is already in. If you look at what I'm put up on the screen, it talked about the grand jury and the makeup of it. Look at that. It says 14 white, 9 non-black, 5 black for sure. Notice that? Grand jury in the Michael Brown case. 9 white, 3 black. Why is that? Especially in a town that is predominantly black, but yet the jury is made up of more white folks. Why? And they only needed 9 of them to agree to not charge Darren Wilson. History is repeating itself. There was a study a while back out of Duke University that stated juries need to be completely down the middle. They don't need to be one race of people more than the other. And that would be more fair in criminal cases. But you see these mostly white juries, they're being picked. And it seems like what's being picked is cop apologists, those who have preconceived notions about us as black people, those who justify the death of our people no matter what. You kill Eric Garner. Oh, well, you know, he was arrested or ticketed by the police before. You kill this one. Oh, well, you know, he sneezed wrong, so that's just anything justifies our death. Anything. And those of you who keep thinking it's okay to kill people, understand something. When it comes to your doorstep, when one of them police do that to one of your children, or maybe do it to you, I want you to have the attitude, well, you know what? It was my own fault. You're not going to say that. You're going to be over here crying and want some sort of justice like everybody else. You know good and well you're going to want that. This is sickening as an American. And also the whole world is watching America. America ran around for many, many decades telling other people in the rest of the world, don't treat your citizens like that. You have to have a democracy. We don't do that to our people. Our people have freedom, rights. Our people can vote. You sit up there and terrorize your people. Look what you do. You're a bunch of brutes and savages. Well, you know what, America? It's funny how you are in the same shoes now and the rest of the world looking at you and say, aha, America, look at the human rights violations that you're doing to your own people too. You are the brute and savage now. Look at your people in the middle of the doggone street fighting for their human rights that's supposed to be in the Constitution of the United States of America. Where you at, America? Your old boy, you had plenty to say about other countries. It's sad when other countries are standing with us on protests. It has nothing to do with them. Barack Obama always telling us to don't say this, don't say that, be at peace. But he never addressed the violence that happened against us by a government entity called the police. You know, these idiots that kind of come up and say, well, what about black on black crime? Yeah, all y'all do is kill each other. What's the difference between a criminal that's not all in our group versus a government entity? So, okay, we shouldn't say nothing about the government literally killing black people. We shouldn't say nothing about that because black on black crime. You know good and well they got white on white crime every day too, right? Pull up FBI.gov table 43, the new 2013 numbers that came out. There's plenty of white on white crime. It's like got black on black crime. What you talking about? There's a lot of crime going on. But the thing is, Eric Holder had more to say about the situation than anybody. And he want to talk about Eric Holder all day. Man, in the past 2 weeks, I've gained so much respect for Eric Holder for actually standing up and saying something and not ducking and hiding and being politically correct. He addressed racial profiling. He addressed the police. He's addressing all this stuff. He's not even the president of the doggone United States. That's sad. But Obama can come up here and tell us about ourselves and what we need to do and what all this other stuff. But he never talk about nobody else. I never hear him scold the police and tell the police, listen, you wrong for what you're doing. You wrong for profiling. You wrong for killing citizens in this country. You wrong for saying things to them and making them feel like this is doggone Nazi Germany. Yes, it's acting like Nazi Germany. Do the research for these police. These police are killing people. I just saw like a story of some cop out of Austin, Texas, telling citizens, well, you know, if anybody got any extreme gun views or they think real different, call us and turn them in so we can find out and vet them. Wow. So if somebody like guns or somebody respects their Second Amendment rights, all of a sudden that's an issue now. Well, what's next? We're going to walk around and being asked for papers? Some of y'all got mad when I said that before, but I'm sorry. This country with these police, if it's not checked, it's going into that lane of Nazi Germany and how they was doing things against the Jews. Research it. Now, this is a tipping point in American history right here. It is. When you have police doing crimes, literally on tape before the world, and nothing happens to them, that not only says a lot about our government to us, but it says a lot about our government before the world. America doesn't have a leg to stand on anymore. Because the first thing they could tell them is, America, get the hell out of here. Because you have no right to say nothing when you got citizens being choked out on camera and you do nothing about it. Nothing. Police is gunning down people that's 30 feet away, talking about they're scared for their life. And that playbook, that playbook is sickening me to the core of my stomach. It's like every police in America got that playbook. I was in fear of my life. I thought he had a gun. And that justifies murder. Understand something. They just had another killing of a black man in Phoenix. And all the talk is, okay, they on all out war against us now. They not playing. And they targeting black people, black men. The police have decided to go to war against us. Now, these police better chill out with that stuff. I'm telling you, they better chill out with that, because all they doing is stirring the people up. And it's more of the people than them. They better stop. The government needs to get a hold to it, because the government not going to be able to control the people. There's too many people in this country to control. I'm sorry. It's not enough of you to really control them. People are tired. People are protesting. People are taking to the street. Right now it's peaceful. They keep on agitating and agitating and agitating. Now everybody's going to eventually be at peace about the situation. Okay? I say everybody needs to be at peace for sure. I'm not advocating anything. What I'm saying is people are tired. They're tired. When you sit up there and have a complete injustice like this, people are tired. And then these cops have the nerve to open their mouth. Darren Wilson have the nerve to open his mouth. This one have a nerve to open his mouth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just to add insult to injury. I mean, what kind of society that we live in? Well, these cops can run around just killing people. You worried about your sons. You worried about your daughters. If they going to come home after going around the corner just to get something from the corner store, if one of these police stop them. See, a lot of people don't even want to walk no more. A lot of people don't even want to go jog no more in the neighborhood or whatever. Because you never know if a cop roll up on you asking you as a black person, what are you doing over here? You live in the neighborhood, but what are you doing over here? Because they feel that you as a black person can't have nothing except them. Get jealous when you have something. Even though you work hard for your stuff every day, you don't steal from nobody. You're not no criminal. But it doesn't matter. You're a certain color, so that's all you need to be looked at as a criminal. Understand something. If Daniel Pantaleo would have choked out a dog on camera like that, Daniel Pantaleo right now would have been indicted and locked up. And I said this, I'm going to keep saying this. In the United States of America, a dog's life is worth more than a black man's life. You can kill a black man in broad daylight. Everybody see it. Nothing happens to you. But choke out that dog. Choke out Fido. Watch what happens to you. Peter and all these different ones going to come out, and something going to happen to that cop. I remember they had a New York cop shot down a dog in the middle of the street, and they had the video on that stuff. Shot the dog down. Dog wasn't doing nothing to get shot down like that. And the people outraged, screaming at the cop, yelling, pissed. But when this happened to Eric Garner, people are looking, but you didn't have the screaming and outrage and everything. But it's a dog. A dog has more value in America than a black man. And to add insult to injury, the man who filmed the murder, they indicted him. The heart of corruption. The cops was following the guy, harassing the guy, okay, the one who filmed it. I even had email conversations with the man's wife, and he was saying how they was harassing the cops, was harassing this man. They were shining lights in their house, all this other stuff, and she was worried about if her husband was gonna get caught up. And she stated, my husband didn't carry no gun, nothing. They will sit up there and say he had a gun, an empty gun that was stolen. If you scared of the cops, wouldn't you have like a gun that's loaded, not an empty one? And the wife said in the video also, and she even told me an email, you know, what the cops had told them, you know, got you, bitch. That's what they said. SARS had referred to exactly what they said. They got him because he filmed this murder and it's all over the place. So this man is going to be locked up on weapons charges. You know, New York is anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, anti-American. But yet the cop who killed somebody on camera, he's sitting at the crib chilling, talking about, well, you know, I have y'all in my prayers. It wasn't my intention to do it. But yet you put your hands and everything on the man's head, but it wasn't your intention. The man told you, I don't know how many times, I can't breathe, and you still did it. You savage. If we don't turn this police culture in America around, this gonna continue to go, because what this shows cops, oh, I can kill Negroes and I'm not going to jail. I can kill Negroes and I'll get $500,000, $1 million. Darren Wilson, George Zimmerman. I can get paid for killing Negroes and become a hero to the racists, the mentally slow of America. I can do that. People, we better decide what we're going to, the position we're going to take on this, in this decision, and where America is going within this history. We're at a turning point in America right now. And where you stand is where people are going to see your place in history. I stand with the people. That's who I stand with. I stand for what's right. And if the so-called police are right, then they'll stand with what's right also. They'll weed out the corrupt cops and those who are evil and unjust within their ranks. That's what the people need to see. You want to regain trust, President Obama, you say you want to do that with the police? Why don't you call a good police in every police department to take a stand against this, and that you will back them 100% as the president, and if anybody do anything to them, you're going to protect them, and you're going to bring all the powers of the federal government on any corrupt cop who tries to harm them or intimidate them. That's what you do. And when people see the good cops out here, the good cops protesting, the good cops saying, wait a minute, we don't agree with this stuff. That's those guys that sit up there and violate rights. We are not like that. That will stir up trust again. But the good cops got to come out now and say something. You can't just stay back and stay quiet, because your silence is taking a position. And I'm sorry, if I was a cop, you wouldn't sit up there and label me like that. I would want to be the cop that if somebody go crazy and want to start doing stuff to cops, but because of all this, I would want to be the guy that catch a bullet. I'm sorry, I wouldn't, because I didn't do nothing. I never treated people bad. I never beat nobody down. I always gave people chances, everything, just to do the right thing. I never treated nobody different, but yet now I got a bullseye on me because of the badge. No. I would say something, period. Because you ain't about to sit up there and put me in that category if I was a cop, because I got a family to go home to. And I'm not about to sit up there and suffer because of that fool that's in my department that's doing wrong. It's time for the good cops to stand up now, if you are a good cop. And if you're a good cop and you don't say nothing, that means you're in agreement with them, period. You got to act now. See, one thing you have to do, and one thing I like about people is people who take a stand and take a position one way or another, because at least I know where you're at. But your silence is taking a position when it comes to this point with police, if you are a good cop. So my call to the good cops is it's time to stand up and be a good cop, because it's getting bad. And I don't think you should suffer for what bad cops are doing that's in your department. I don't think you should, because that wouldn't be right or fair. I mean, people in America, we have to evaluate this country, evaluate everything. This situation is just very aggravating, it's upsetting, it's disheartening. Anybody that's a human being would not agree with any events that's happened. But America's changing, people. You better decide what part of history you're going to be on, because it is a change happening. The police is attacking the people. The government is in silence with it. They're not saying much of nothing. They got mouth for everything else, but sure don't have mouth about the people being oppressed. Things have to change, and it's up to us to change them, because we can no longer just stand idly by and worry about our children getting killed every day by supposedly law enforcement, supposedly good people. Now we have to worry about the thugs in badges and the thugs that's just running around the streets. Both of them are one and the same. Hit me up in the comments, future commentaries, subscribe.